Не мигнула, вот, я вам доказательство. Ну ладно, моя камера, конечно. Это что-то с чем-то, но у меня балкон выходит.
Ukraine has once again demonstrated its growing reach and precision in striking deep inside Russian-occupied territory. Overnight, Ukrainian drones launched a coordinated attack on multiple energy and infrastructure targets, inflicting significant damage on Russia's logistics backbone. According to Unmanned Systems Forces Commander Magyar, Ukrainian forces successfully struck 5 out of 8 intended substations, including one operation conducted jointly with the Special Operations Forces. The total hit capacity reached 5,066 megavolt amperes, with some targets located as far as Griasi, a deep strike that highlights Kyiv's expanding drone capabilities. On the night of November 2nd, Ukrainian drones conducted a massive strike on the invaders' energy infrastructure. Strikes were recorded on at least 2 electrical substations in the Kursk and Lipetsk regions of Russia. Local residents posted videos of the attacks and subsequent fires on Telegram channels. According to local reports, the drones hit electrical substations in Zheleznogorsk, Kursk region, and Usman-Lipetsk region. The first drones were spotted in Zheleznogorsk around 10 p.m. As of 10:50 p.m., locals counted at least 15 attack drones. A few minutes later, reports emerged of a fire in the city following the fall of drone debris. According to local media, kamikaze drones attacked a 330 kilovolt substation. Part of the city was left without power, and problems with water supply were reported. It is worth noting that Zheleznogorsk is home to the second largest mining and processing plant, the Mikhailovsky GOK. It is integrated into the supply chain of the Russian Ministry of Defense, as raw materials produced by this plant are supplied to enterprises that manufacture armor steel. The enrichment plant itself has also previously been targeted by Ukrainian drones and is under U.S. sanctions. Additionally, strike UAVs hit the Usman 220 kilovolt traction substation in Russia's Lipetsk region, which powers the railway section between Lipetsk and Voronezh. The substation receives high-voltage electricity, 220 kilovolts, from the main grid, and steps it down to levels suitable for supplying the contact network and other consumers. This is a key piece of infrastructure that ensures the stable operation of electrified railway lines. On the night of October 31st, the Ukrainian Navy executed a missile strike with Neptune cruise missiles on energy infrastructure facilities in Russia's Bryansk region and in Oryol. The Oryol CHP plant and the Novobryansk electrical substation, which supplied power to, among others, military enterprises in the region, came under attack. On the night of November 2nd, another attack on the city of Oryol was also reported. However, the results of the strike are currently unknown. The Ukrainian Defense Forces also targeted 4 major electrical substations in the temporarily occupied Luhansk region, in Dovzhansk, Sloviano-Serbsk, Perevalsk, and the city of Alchevsk. These areas serve as vital hubs for Russian military logistics, supplying power to railways, depots, and troop concentrations supporting the invasion effort. Local reports described a night filled with tension and explosions. Residents of Alchevsk took to social media to report the sound of drones, followed by at least 3 powerful blasts. Power outages quickly spread across several districts, and video footage showed a substation engulfed in flames. Independent investigators from Cyber-Boroshno identified the target as the Alchevsk 220 kilovolt substation, confirming the scale of the strike. Even Leonid Pasechnik, the Moscow-backed head of the so-called Luhansk People's Republic, admitted that the region suffered a massive drone attack on its energy network. His statement attempted to reassure locals, claiming that emergency crews restored partial power by morning, but acknowledged that water supply disruptions continue as repair efforts proceed. This latest wave of strikes builds on Ukraine's growing campaign to degrade Russia's energy and logistics infrastructure. Just days earlier, Ukrainian Special Operations Forces destroyed a frontline fuel depot and an oil base in the same region. Together, these actions are systematically eroding Russia's ability to sustain its war effort, and proving that even far behind the front lines, nowhere is truly safe. A new incident in Russia's far north is raising eyebrows and suspicions. 5 rail cars carrying petroleum products derailed at the Komsomolsk-Murmansky station in the Murmansk region, a critical logistical hub supporting both Arctic industry and military supply routes. While Russian officials were quick to call it an accident, many observers believe this may be yet another case of Ukrainian or local partisan sabotage. The Northwestern Transport Prosecutor's Office confirmed the derailment, noting there were no oil spills or injuries, but the timing and target speak volumes. Rail lines in this area have become frequent targets of mysterious technical failures, especially those connected to fuel transport for Russia's military. These kinds of guerrilla-style attacks have become a regular part of the broader shadow war inside Russia. Explosions, derailments, and fires at energy and transport facilities are occurring with growing frequency, disrupting the Kremlin's logistics network. Whether this latest derailment was caused by Ukrainian special operations or local resistance cells, it sends the same message. Russia's war machine is under attack, even deep within its own territory. Canada is ready to hand over the confiscated Russian An-124 to Ukraine as soon as the court approves it, says Foreign Minister Anita Anand. The aircraft, stuck in Toronto since early 2022, belongs to the sanctioned Volga-Dnepr company. Legal proceedings are ongoing due to its complex corporate ties. Some of you are asking why we keep reporting on Solovyov and his propaganda team. But come on, guys, it's always funny to watch the Dumb and Dumber show. Russian propagandists threaten striking American territory with a squadron of 18 Poseidon torpedoes to completely destroy the very notion of the U.S. as a maritime civilization.
Well, so to speak, a squadron of 18 Poseidons completely destroys the entire concept of the United States as a maritime civilization, because in this case, all bases, all major port cities, and generally all infrastructure within approximately a 30 to 40 kilometer zone will be destroyed. And for a moment, 75% of the US population is located there. And moreover, I say again, the Americans simply have nothing to counter these strikes. Physically nothing. That is, no aircraft carriers, no super secret personal submarine of the USA. Nothing can do anything about it. Not a single torpedo can catch up with our torpedo. They simply do not have such speeds.
Prisoners of war from North Korea, who were captured jointly by Ukrainian special forces and paratroopers in the Kursk region, are asking to be handed over to South Korea. 2 North Korean prisoners of war in Ukraine have appealed to be transferred to South Korea, AFP reported, referring to a South Korean human rights organization. The request was made during the filming of a documentary, coordinated by South Korean human rights activists from Gyeonggi-eol Nation United. Meanwhile, the outlet notes that this is not the first such request from them. One of the prisoners had earlier asked for permission to settle in South Korea when he was visited in February by a lawmaker from the Republic of Korea. At the beginning of 2025, soldiers of Tactical Group No. 84 of the Ukrainian Special Operations Forces, in cooperation with units of the Air Assault Forces, managed to capture 2 North Korean soldiers who were fighting on Russia's side in the Kursk region. This was not the first attempt to capture soldiers from that country, but at that time, North Korea had not yet officially acknowledged its participation in the war. Therefore, the Russians and North Koreans usually killed their own wounded and did everything possible to eliminate any evidence of another state's involvement in the war against Ukraine. According to the prisoners, they are servicemen of the Reconnaissance General Bureau under the General Staff of the North Korean Army. One of the prisoners, a 26-year-old soldier, is named Ri, and the other, a 21-year-old, is Paek. They served as a reconnaissance sniper and a rifleman, respectively. According to Ri, he arrived in Vladivostok on October 10, 2024. Before that, he and his fellow soldiers spent about a month in Chagang province, where they helped eliminate the aftermath of flooding. I entered combat on January 5th. The first wave of troops suffered heavy losses due to drone strikes and artillery fire. We were counting on support from Russian artillery, but they fired at the enemy's rear instead of covering us properly. This led to many casualties, Ri added. The prisoner shared that North Korean agents closely monitored the troops in Kursk, spreading false rumors that the drone operators were South Korean soldiers. After being wounded, he was afraid to move even at night, fearing the devil drone, as he called the night drones that the Russians refer to as Baba Yaga. Almost immediately, South Korea stated that it was ready to accept the captured North Korean soldiers if they agreed to it. South Korea's constitution defines the entire Korean peninsula as its territory, effectively recognizing all its inhabitants as South Korean citizens. However, at that time, none of the prisoners had yet expressed a desire to defect to the south. It is estimated that the total losses of North Korean forces during offensive operations against Ukrainian troops in Russia's Kursk region amount to more than 6,000 soldiers killed and wounded.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.